Salvete, nomen meum est Paulus, beatissimus sum TUG duomilia viginte colloqui ordinatoribus, loquar de uso TeX in ecclesia. I am a devoted Catholic working as a volunteer in a small parish devoted to Saint Anne, Mother of the Blessed Virgin Mary, located at Analândia, a small village in the countryside area of São Paulo, Brazil. The last census pointed to 65% of the city population declared as being Catholic. However, most of them are non-practicing, so the Catholic community itself is about 300 faithful. I understand the multiplicity of religious denominations in the TeX community, as well as lack thereof, so I'll try my best to keep this talk as secular as possible and only comment certain aspects of Christianity and Catholicism in particular, whenever strictly needed. I kindly ask for your forgiveness and patience. I serve in some pastorals, being the liturgical music the most significant one. As a result of the Second Vatican Council, the Constitution on the Sacred Liturgy, in Articles 28 and 30, states that to promote active participation, the people should be encouraged to take part by means of acclamations, responses, psalmody, antiphons, and songs. So here I am. I chose two topics which are related to each other to cover in this talk: song sheets and song booklets. I will describe how I use TeX and Friends on producing them. It is worth mentioning that there is yet a lot of room to cover in other areas of the church as well. Keep in mind that there is more to the subject than meets the eye. Enjoy! First, we need to talk about some concepts. Sheet music is a handwritten or printed form of musical notation that uses musical symbols to indicate the pitches, rhythms, or chords of a song or instrumental musical piece. The term score is a common alternative and more generic term for sheet music. I personally use the term song sheet, which typically refers to a document containing the lyrics of a song alongside to its musical representation. So, a liturgical song sheet is a particular instance of the broad general sheet music in a religious context, right? In a manner of speaking, yes, but there is something very important to be addressed. In this case, text and melody cannot be dissociated as in secular music. Some scholars defend the text to be food for the mind and melody to be food for the heart. Hence, both contribute to the complete fulfillment of a person's relationship with God. So, a liturgical song sheet is not a mere score. It offers a special bond between human and divine, and thus its typesetting deserves dedication to the best of its typographer's heart and soul. Since the 60s, permission has been granted to celebrate the Mass in vernacular languages, as seen in the Constitution on the Sacred Liturgy from the Second Vatican Council. It has been emphasized that the language used should be known to the gathered people. In my parish, only a very reduced number of hymns still remains its original Latin form, such as Tantum Ergo, Panis Angelicus, Salve Regina, and Anima Christi. Several other hymns were composed or translated using the vernacular language, which in my case is Brazilian Portuguese. However, in small communities like mine, the liturgical music tradition was kept through verbal heritage. There were no song sheets available or minimally knowledgeable people to interpret them. My community had to ensure newer generations to learn songs by constant repetition and usage as a means to perpetuate them. This was basically the continuity hermeneutics for future generations employed since the 60s to the present day. So we had nothing documented. Being myself a music hobbyist, I decided to take a step further and transcribe as most liturgical songs as I possibly could. Transcription, for those unfamiliar with the term, is the practice of notating a piece which was previously annotated, that is, not recorded in musical notation, as a written music. I take some freedom regarding the pitch, and of course, due to the nature of verbal heritage, some melodic inaccuracies might arise. Such inaccuracies are mitigated when I have access to official reliable audio sources, but that it's not always the case. A typical transcription session starts with picking up the song. I hear it a couple of times and then proceed to notate the song in my music notebook. Sometimes I am in front of my digital piano or holding my acoustic guitar to help me locate the notes in the stuff more easily. After a few tweaks, I play and sing the complete melody for proofreading. The first part of the transcription session is complete. Now I need to convert the song sheet sketched in my music notebook into a proper digital version through computer music engraving, the art of drawing music notation at high quality for the purpose of mechanical reproduction. Although there are several packages for music engraving, I personally do not think TeX is the best tool for this particular task, so my software of choice is LilyPond. LilyPond's primary goal is to produce output comparable to professionally engraved scores instead of output that looks mechanical and computer generated. As I want my liturgical song sheets to be visually appealing, LilyPond seems the perfect tool for my task. Some of its features include optical font scaling. Depending on the staff size, the design of the music font is slightly altered. This is a feature that the computer modern font is known for. As a result, note heads become more rounded and staff lines become thicker. Optical spacing. Stem directions are taken into account when spacing subsequent notes. Special ledger line handling. Ledger lines are shortened when accidentals are nearby, thus enhancing readability. Proportional spacing. Notes can be positioned in such a way that exactly reflects their duration. For example, with the setting, the space between consecutive quarter notes is 4 times greater than between consecutive 16th notes. However, LilyPond solves just half of my task. I want my liturgical song sheets to have text blocks with proper hyphenation, beautiful fonts, scripture verses, and background images as well. This is a typical scenario where LilyPond's syntax and commands become a nuisance. Surely, the best solution to my task is neither LilyPond or TeX. It is LilyPond and TeX. I can benefit from the best of two worlds, LilyPond with professional music engraving and TeX with its unparalleled text capabilities. So that is how the second part of my transcription session goes. I convert the song sheet sketch from my notebook into the corresponding LilyPond format and set up the score into a TeX file. I will explain each step I take. When converting song sheets into the LilyPond format, I typically use a free software editor named Frescobaldi. This editor offers a lot of templates in order to ease the writing of complex scores, as well as dictionary-based lyrics hyphenation and other engraving tweaks. The editor also features a score preview with point and click, which lets you find notes in the input by clicking on them. Observe that there is no need to handle paper size and margins in the LilyPond file, as such adjustments will be done later on inside our TeX file. For my TeX document, I usually use the typical article class with A4 paper and 12-point size font options. For margins, I usually rely on the geometry package. If the text is too long, I also include Frank's multicolor package. Otherwise, a simple mini page suffices. I also load the background and graphic X packages to provide watermark features and image support respectively. The LilyPond magic inside my TeX documents happens thanks to a fantastic package named LiluaTeX, available out of the box from your typical TeX Live and MikTeX installations. As the name implies, this package can only be used with the Lua LaTeX engine. Some of its features include: LilyPond is used to compile music scores directly from within the Lua LaTeX engine run. Music scores are created in real time, so shellscape is required during the compilation. Intelligent caching of engraving scores, avoiding recompilation when possible. Matching of layout and appearance to perfectly fit the scores into the text document. Comprehensive configuration through global and per score options. Another important feature to me is the automatic font handling, which is disabled by default. As we are using a modern engine such as Lua LaTeX, system fonts are available, and LiluaTeX can handle them as well by passing such metrics to LilyPond. Speaking of fonts, I personally adopt an OpenType font named Carol, designed in 2011 by Daniel Sabino. It contains 8 styles and family package options. Please note that this particular font is not freely available. Of course, other fonts can be used in the workflow presented in this talk. I use the font spec package for font selection in my TeX document. I will use a vector image of the Blessed Virgin Mary as document watermark. Keep in mind that this particular image will be used only for didactic purposes. By the way, since the compilation requires shellscape and generates intermediate auxiliary files, I decided to use a very interesting automation tool named Arara. The project looks promising, so make sure to visit the Island of TeX to learn more about Arara and other TeX-related tools. I will now present 3 examples of transcriptions and 1 Gregorian chant engraving. The latter uses the Gregorian TeX package and a file containing the corresponding chant in the GABC format. The first transcription is from a song named Comum do Pão, a Portuguese version from the English original Eat This Bread. It is written by Jacques Berthier for the TZ community, an ecumenical Christian monastic fraternity in TZ, France.
Comam do pão, bebam do cálice, quem a mim vem não terá fome. Comam do pão, bebam do cálice, quem em mim crê não terá sede.
The second transcription is from a song named Crucem Tuam, which means Your Cross in Latin. It is also written by Jacques Berthier for the TeX Community France. The third song is actually a tribute to my friends from the Italian tech user group. The song is named Festa di Popoli, which means Meeting of Peoples in Italian. It is written by Francesco Buttazzo. I was watching the Holy Mass for migrants directly from St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican one day and heard this song. I decided to transcribe it because it shows a more complex melody.
Una luce splende chiara in ogni uomo e in ogni lingua parla della verità che ci porta da Lui, ci fa vivere in Lui. Noi cantiamo la bellezza di conoscere e cantiamo la certezza di vedere in ogni volto quella luce che rivela in mezzo a noi il volto di Dio. E festa sarà insieme a te, festa di popoli uniti da te, che ci chiami con te a condividere una vita di fraternità. E festa sarà insieme a te, festa di popoli uniti da te, dando aria a una nuova umanità, nuovo mondo del regno di Dio.
The fourth and last song is a well-known Gregorian chant. It is the Kyrie from Mass 8 De Angelis for feasts. I tried to keep the layout consistent while typesetting a different music notation. It is worth mentioning that this workflow can be further automated by using a template tool like Techplate to generate the code boilerplate that handles both tech and score, merging them into a coherent document structure. I again welcome you to visit the island of Tech to learn more about Techplate and other tech-related tools. So this is how a typical transcription session goes. There's always a manual adjustment, usually minor, during proofreading, both in textual and music typography. It is an art, after all. I will spare the details on such adjustments, but they do occasionally happen. I began a personal project named Vozes de Santa Ana, in English Voices of Saint Anne, to hold my transcriptions of liturgical song sheets, both PDF and source files, freely available. So far, the repository is empty, but hopefully I will be able to populate it in the following weeks. Just visit the following GitHub address and enjoy the content. Now, I would like to talk about song booklets. A booklet is typically the name given to a very thin book with a small number of pages and sometimes a paper cover giving information about something. In my case, a song booklet contains liturgical songs. Since almost no one in my community can read sheet music, I decided to just put the song lyrics in the booklets. Actually, it is unusual to spot sheet music in today's liturgical booklets, unless you are lucky enough to live near Rome and can attend the Holy Mass in St. Peter's Basilica. The Vatican website contains lots of Mass booklets for download. This one, for example, is the booklet used for the Holy Mass for the beginning of the pontificate of Pope Francis in March 19, 2013, Feast of Saint Joseph. Finding a good layout for a song booklet is challenging. I did several experimentations throughout the years with page size and margins, font shapes and colors, number of columns, and other typographical aspects in the hopes of finding the perfect balance between aesthetics and ergonomics. A good booklet project for a parish has to be useful without taking the person's focus from the liturgical celebrations. I found A5 to be the best paper size for our booklets, as it would be easier for people to hold during masses and it could help us save printing resources. An A5, as you probably know, is equivalent to half of an A4 paper, so this approach could get me 4 pages instead of the usual 2 from a typical printing. For my TeX document, I usually use the typical article class with A5 paper and either an 11 or 12 point size font for options. I enjoy fonts with round shapes as a means to improve reading, so Bookman is a good choice. For margins, I usually rely on the geometry package. I found 2 columns to be a good balance between aesthetics and ergonomics, so I also include the multicol package. I like to add section titles to songs, so I typically rely on the fantastic T-Color Box package. And at last but not least, I also load the GraphicX package to provide image support. I rarely apply a cover, so all pages are available for content. The number of pages can be 1, 2, or any multiple of 4. For the final document, I use PDF pages to help me distribute the A5 pages into a set of A4 pages. I use a very simple Python script to help me organize the page order. There is a reason for this specific page order. I can produce my song booklets without page cutting. I just need to print the A4 papers, fold and group them. I have a very special stapler that helps me prepare these booklets in a couple of minutes. This workflow is surprisingly efficient. These song booklets do require work and final adjustments, but the layout and content disposition are usually straightforward. However, I do have songbooks that require a significant amount of rearrangement of elements as a means to achieve better aesthetics and ergonomics. Being myself a theoretical computer science researcher, I am interested in solutions for automating either all or part of the layout process, determining sizes and positions of visual elements. This field of research seems to lie at the crossroads between artificial intelligence and human-computer interaction. So far, I am trying constraint-based methods. Preliminary results are promising, but there is still a long road to walk. I will keep the tech community updated on my progress. Thank you very much for your attention and patience. I hope to see you all pretty soon. Pax et bonum. Cheerio!